All right, so everyone's been talking about 2025, the year of Mars, right? We're going to take a deep dive into an article all about this from AJ Astrology. You don't need to be an astrology buff or anything to follow along, though. We're going to break it down and figure out what this year of Mars could mean for all of us.
Yeah, it's interesting. When you think about it, even if you forget all the astrology stuff, this whole year of Mars idea really speaks to something deep in us. It's like this desire we all have to take control, make progress in our lives, maybe even have a little adventure along the way.
Okay, so let's actually break down this concept of year of Mars. This article we're looking at links Mars with boldness, courage, even a little bit of a competitive spirit. Makes you wonder if we could all use a little of that Martian drive, right?
Absolutely. Astrologically speaking, Mars is all about pushing ourselves outside our comfort zones. It's that energy that helps us take action, turn our dreams into something real.
It's like that extra shot of espresso for our goals. And the article suggests that in 2025, this Martian energy could really boost our motivation to really get things done. Maybe this is the year we finally launch that project, learn that skill, or finally clean out that closet.
It's a good time to think about what we've been putting off and why. I know some folks are probably rolling their eyes at all this astrology talk, and that's totally understandable. But the article does try to ground this with some real-world examples.
That's where things get really interesting. They highlight India's Mars orbiter mission, Mongolian, which was launched way back in 2013.
Oh, Mongolian, what an incredible example. It shows what happens when you combine engineering smarts with pure determination. What's even more remarkable is that India did this on a much smaller budget than similar missions by NASA or other agencies. It embodies that resourceful spirit. Can-do attitude really aligns with the energy of Mars achieving ambitious goals, even with limited resources.
And it's still up there orbiting Mars, collecting data.
Yeah.
Talk about the power of vision and action.
Exactly. And speaking of visionaries, the article brings up Elon Musk as a prime example of this Mars energy today.
Hard to argue with that, right? SpaceX, Tesla. I mean, he's constantly pushing boundaries and challenging how things are done.
Yeah, in the context of this year of Mars, what's fascinating about Musk, it's not just the success he has, but his willingness to take risks, to go after goals that seem impossible to most people, that drive, that ambition. That's what aligns him with the archetype of Mars. And of course, his work has had a huge impact on how we see technology, sustainability, even the future of space exploration.
So does this mean we should all be buying tickets to Mars or something, or start our own rocket companies in 2025?
Not necessarily. While those are some pretty inspiring examples, this year of Mars isn't just about doing something as grand as launching a rocket. This energy can show up in our own lives too, in the everyday choices we make, the challenges we face.
So maybe it's more about finally facing that fear of public speaking, or signing up for that coding class I've been thinking about.
Exactly. Or it could be about setting healthy boundaries, being more assertive, finally diving into that creative project you've been putting off. It's about tapping into that drive, that courage within us that helps us become the best versions of ourselves.
Okay, I'm feeling motivated already. The article also links this whole Mars energy thing with physical activity and fitness. Is this like the universe telling us it's time to hit the gym or what?
It's an interesting connection. The idea is that this Martian influence could boost our motivation to be more active, to push ourselves physically. That doesn't have to mean training for a marathon. It could be as simple as taking the stairs more often, trying that yoga class you've been thinking about. It's about taking care of our physical well-being, which, let's be honest, we often put on the back burner.
It's funny, right? We picture Mars as this harsh, lifeless place. But this whole year of Mars idea, it's really about bringing things to life, our ideas, our goals, even our own physical potential.
That's a great point. And it leads into some of the bigger life lessons the article talks about. As we navigate this year of Mars, these are things that resonate whether you're into astrology or not. Embracing challenges, choosing action over endless planning, and most importantly, persisting even when things get tough. These are powerful reminders no matter what you're striving for.
And these lessons apply beyond 2025, right? It's about developing a mindset of resilience, of facing obstacles head on, with a little bit of that Martian boldness.
Absolutely. It's about understanding that challenges are going to happen, but they don't have to stop us. It's about having that courage to keep moving forward, even if it's one small step at a time. Now, while those big inspiring examples are great, how can we actually apply these life lessons from Mars to our own lives? That's what we'll explore next.
Okay, so we've got this Martian energy pushing us to go after our goals. But how do we actually make that happen? Where do we even start?
Well, the article breaks it down into these 3 life lessons from Mars. I think they can really guide us. The first one is all about embracing challenges. You know how we tend to avoid things that seem hard or scary?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I am the queen of procrastination when something seems too tough.
We all do it to some extent, but this whole year of Mars energy, it's about changing that mindset. What if, instead of seeing challenges as roadblocks, we saw them as opportunities to grow?
I like that. But how do we actually do that in real life? I mean, sometimes a challenge is just a challenge.
It's all about perspective. Let's say you're trying to learn a new language. It can be so frustrating at first, all those grammar rules, the pronunciation struggles.
Ugh, don't even get me started on verb conjugations.
Right. It's tough. But if you stick with it, you push through those hurdles, you gain a new skill, a whole new way to connect with the world. That sense of accomplishment, that's that Martian energy in action. It's about building resilience, something we really associate with Mars.
So it's about turning that I can't into I'll figure it out. Kind of like that Martian ingenuity we were talking about.
Exactly. And that leads us to the second lesson. Action speaks louder than words. I mean, we've all had these brilliant ideas that never actually happen.
Oh, tell me about it. I've got a whole notebook full of those.
This year of Mars energy could be the push we need to bridge that gap between thinking and doing. It's about being intentional, setting specific goals, and then actually taking action.
So instead of just saying, I want to write a book, it's about actually scheduling time to write, even if it's just for like 30 minutes a day.
Exactly. It's about breaking down those big, overwhelming goals into smaller, more manageable steps. And those small actions, they add up over time.
It's about building momentum, right? Each step you take gives you the energy for the next one.
Precisely. And that brings us to our third and maybe most important lesson, persistence. It's what separates those who just dream from those who make those dreams reality.
We all hit those roadblocks and setbacks, those times when giving up feels easier than pushing forward.
Absolutely. This year of Mars reminds us that setbacks aren't failures. They're just part of the journey. It's about cultivating that resilience, that never-give-up attitude, which really aligns with Mars's association with strength and determination.
The article makes a good point. It's often in those moments of struggle, when we want to quit, that the real growth happens.
Think about athletes who train so hard. They push their bodies to the limit. They embrace the pain, the fatigue, because they know it's all part of reaching their peak performance. They're embodying that Martian warrior spirit, pushing through to achieve their goals.
And that applies to anything we want to achieve, right? Whether it's starting a business, mastering a skill, or even working through a personal challenge.
Exactly. It's about understanding that the path to success isn't always a straight line. There will be detours, obstacles, maybe even a few metaphorical craters along the way. But it's about having the courage to keep going, to adapt and keep moving forward, even if it's just one small step at a time.
You know, as we're talking about this, it hits me that these life lessons from Mars are really universal. It's not just about 2025. It's about how we approach life.
That's a great insight. These are principles that can help us live more fulfilling lives, no matter what the stars are doing.
So maybe this year of Mars isn't really about a date on the calendar. It's more about a mindset we can develop. It's about tapping into that inner strength, that drive to create, to achieve, to be our best selves.
Absolutely. Now, all this talk about Mars and its energy is interesting, but what does it actually mean for everyone listening? It's great for us to chat about it, but the real magic happens when we apply these ideas to our own lives.
So let's bring it back down to Earth.
Think about one area where you want to see growth or progress in 2025. It could be anything personal, professional, creative, even just a small habit you want to change.
What's that one thing you've been putting off? The one that keeps coming back to mind?
How can you use this year of Mars energy to make it happen?
What are some small, specific steps you can take, starting today to get closer to that goal?
Don't be afraid to dream big. But it's those consistent actions that make dreams come true.
I love that. It's about finding that balance between ambition and action. Dreaming big, but also taking those concrete steps.
And as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought. We've been talking about how this year of Mars energy can affect us individually. But what if we could channel this collectively? What kind of positive change could we create on a global scale? If we all embrace those principles of courage, action, and persistence.
Now that is a thought-provoking question. What if this year of Mars could actually be a catalyst for something truly remarkable, something that benefits everyone. But that's a conversation for the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore those bigger picture ideas, the potential challenges, and of course some inspiring examples of how this energy is already shaping the world. So we've talked about how this year of Mars energy can affect us personally, but what about the bigger picture? What could this mean for the world?
It's a fascinating question. If we think about Mars, both literally and symbolically, it's all about venturing into the unknown, pushing beyond what we think is possible, and exploring new frontiers, not just physically, but also in terms of ideas.
And we can already see that spirit of exploration and pushing limits, driving some pretty incredible advancements in science and tech.
Think about all the Mars missions happening right now. The research, the innovations in spacecraft and propulsion systems, it's mind-blowing how far we've come.
It really is. And it's not just about getting to Mars. It's about what we learn along the way. You know, those technologies we create for space. They often end up benefiting us here on Earth in ways we don't expect.
Absolutely. Like the need for super lightweight materials in spacecraft. It's led to advancements in all sorts of things, from medical devices to athletic gear. These innovations driven by that push to explore Mars end up improving our lives and expanding what we think is possible. It's like a ripple effect, a chain reaction of positive change.
And that same spirit, that willingness to push boundaries, could be applied to other global challenges too, right?
For sure. Think about climate change finding sustainable energy, addressing things like poverty and hunger. This year of Mars energy encourages us to think outside the box, challenge the old ways of doing things, and come up with bold solutions.
It's about harnessing that human drive, that Martian determination to create a better future for everyone.
And it's not just about governments or big organizations leading the charge. It's about all of us taking responsibility and contributing.
Yeah. It's about that entrepreneurial spirit, that willingness to take risks, to innovate, to make a difference.
Think about social entrepreneurs using business to tackle social issues, or people leading community initiatives to make things better right in their own neighborhoods. These are the everyday heroes, the Martian trailblazers who inspire others.
It's powerful to think that even small actions multiplied across the world can have a real impact.
Exactly. This Year of Mars concept really highlights the power of collective action. It's about moving from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance, from competition to collaboration.
From what divides us to what unites us, working together to build a better world.
Now let's be real for a second. This kind of global shift won't be easy. We're talking about changing the way things are done, challenging old systems, creating new ones.
There's bound to be resistance setbacks. Times when we wonder if it's even possible.
And that's where that Martian persistence comes in. Staying focused on the goal, adapting to obstacles, finding creative solutions, and remembering that progress isn't always a straight line. There will be ups and downs along the way.
But as long as we keep moving forward, keep pushing those boundaries, keep believing in that better future,
we can use this Year of Mars energy to create a world that reflects the best of humanity, a world that's more sustainable, equitable, and prosperous for everyone.
That's what we really want to leave you with today. A sense of hope, a bit of inspiration, and a call to action.
Because the future isn't set in stone. We create it through the choices we make and the things we do.
So as we step into this Year of Mars, ask yourself, what bold step will you take? What positive change will you contribute to? What kind of legacy will you leave behind?
Because even the smallest act of courage, of innovation, of persistence, can make a real difference.
So embrace that Martian energy. Let's make this year and the years to come a time of incredible progress and change for the better.
The journey starts now.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time for another exploration into the fascinating and the thought-provoking.
Until then, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep reaching for the stars.